This whole thing about OnlyFans isn't a new idea. People have been trying it for many years, and it's actually been a very popular thing.
Because OnlyFans technically wasn't supposed to be porn, it was supposed to be exclusive content.
You know, at the time, there was so many other companies trying to replicate what OnlyFans had already mastered.
So everybody's signing up on OnlyFans and just selling their masturbation videos. I'm like, why not? I could do the same thing. I used to fuck my fans and post those videos on my OnlyFans.
I originally started with webcamming. I was found by a recruiter who was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing porn?
I had at 26 just become freshly single, and then I started dating this guy who is just a total dirtbag.
I was a dancer for years. I was traveling out in Vegas.
From as early as I can remember, I was always chasing girls around the playground.
A lot of the guys from my Twitch community would come in and say, make an OnlyFans, and I'm like, oh, I would never do that.
They can connect with that audience directly and they can make thousands a day. And that's why we're seeing these top 1% creators buying Lamborghini Uruses and mansions in Beverly Hills.
I didn't even really think it was like a career or an industry.
Girls these days are only focused on their OnlyFans.
But now girls are getting all this attention on social media. Human beings are looking for their interactivity on social media. People who are desperate to make money, people who have money and are desperate for interaction, and it created the perfect storm to make OnlyFans one of the largest social media platforms in the world.
Hi, I'm AJ Ray.
I'm Dan Dangler.
I'm Amber Marie. I'm Kenzie Ann. And this is the rise of OnlyFans.
This whole thing about OnlyFans isn't a new idea. People have been trying it for many years, and it's actually been a very popular thing. It was called solo sites. Solo girl sites were very popular as little as 5 or 10 years ago. Thomas Stokely, who founded OnlyFans, actually was already kind of an adult industry entrepreneur at the time. He had founded a couple websites. One of them notably was called Glam Worship. The other one was called Customs for You. These were basically sites where he was trying to develop that relationship between the audience and the creator and kind of cut out the middleman, the studio.
First time I ever heard about it was my agent at the time, and the agents were trying to sign us up so they would get a kickback or they'd get a percentage of sales.
Stokely really saw the vision that if you could connect the creator directly to the consumer, that as a platform, you could make tons of money.
I remember first site I was on was Patreon. They generate nudity, sexual contents at beginning of their sites.
These are basically websites where the creator just posts their videos and then somebody can pay for them. This all turned itself around in 2016. He hadn't really experienced a lot of success. He goes to his dad, who gave him a $10,000 loan. His dad basically tells him, this is the last money I'm giving you. Teams up with his brother, and they build out what today is OnlyFans, which has done billions of dollars.
So the first time I heard of OnlyFans was at one of the adult entertainment conventions. They had actually had a booth there and were kind of like approaching different porn stars and different people in the industry, kind of being like, hey, you know, we have this platform. I saw a bunch of my other like fellow performers hopping on the platform, and I thought, you know, what a cool way to like push content that I already had on my phone.
A lot of people moving towards to OnlyFans.
How I got started, it was very different. You know, it's like I started off modeling and kind of like ended up in the adult industry. When I was modeling, I was always open to being nude and all that stuff or whatever, but the majority of the photos that we take was things that were made safe for Instagram. I was always open to it. I just didn't, when I started OnlyFans, I just didn't know that that's what the fans wanted. They wanted to see more. And so as I met people in Miami and I worked my way in the industry, and I kind of realized like, you know, what the fans wanted. When I first started, I had known of some girls, you know, making good money. And I just kind of reached out enough to where I like, became friends with those girls, started collabing with those, getting on their pages, then meeting the people they know, but just learning from them.
Throughout the course of history, we are one of the most innovative spaces when it comes to technology. Credit cards. When credit cards first came out, the first uses for credit cards were actually for online payments for adult content. VHSs, DVDs started taking off because of the adult industry. audio equipment, 4K, the internet. Even now, like online, the majority of content is actual adult content. VR, the adult industry, we're the ones taking a chance on this new tech.
At the time, Snapchat was like the big thing. If you had personal content on your phone, like amateur videos or things like that, you would have like a private Snapchat. The app would crash all the time. It was just annoying. So we had a platform, but it wasn't like perfected because doing everything on Snapchat was really annoying. So when OnlyFans came around, it was very, very like attractive to somebody like me.
Around 2018, Stokely sells 75% of the company to a very famous adult industry founder, Leonard Radvinsky, who was actually the founder and owner of My Free Cams, one of the largest adult campsites in the world. As soon as Radvinsky gets involved, now we start seeing some huge numbers. Radvinsky really saw the vision of being able to create that interactivity between creator and consumer.
The majority of adult content and porn consumers, I don't have the exact number, but I'd say 9 out of 10 porn consumers are men. They're the ones spending a lot of the money on it from just the analytics, and a lot of the porn that we see is kind of based for the male gaze.
How did this go from a relatively successful but obscure website to a part of mainstream culture that is almost impossible to not see?
The community was just growing at like substantial speed. So that was why I got on it. It seemed like I wanted to be somewhere where more people were, and that was OnlyFans.
One of the biggest catalysts that is often overlooked that really truly led to the rise and positioning of OnlyFans today was COVID-19.
I was late to the party. I heard about it when everyone else did. Right when COVID hit, it was like, boom.
Pandemic hit. Everything shut down.
More people are working from home, more people are using the internet, and more people are desperate for money than ever before in our lifetimes.
I started at the most impeccable time. I couldn't have gotten deep into the online community at a better time in the history of the online community.
OnlyFans at the time, they were begging performers when it first came out to join the platform. Until the pandemic, when they shut down professional shooting.
I thought I was going to be in guests. I thought I was going to be in all these big brands, to where it was like, I'm working from home now. The clubs are closed. I'm not dancing anymore. I don't have work anymore. So I'm just doing OnlyFans.
Everybody is quarantined, stay at home, and nothing to do. So everybody is signing up on OnlyFans and just selling their masturbation videos. I'm like, why not? I could do the same thing and make a living of that.
So we were pretty much left to our own devices to fend for ourselves, and that's when OnlyFans started taking off for myself and a lot of my peers.
When COVID hit, any girl that dropped an OnlyFans made 40 grand, 50 grand, whatever, depending on their popularity. You were first, you sold your nudes, okay, you made money.
During COVID, there's hundreds of thousands of people that were out of work. They needed to survive. You know, they were going to OnlyFans to shoot content because, say, you know, they were a teacher or they were a dentist, whatever, like they were losing their jobs as well. It wasn't just the adult industry that was losing work.
This girl is selling her nudes. You know, this girl in Toronto is selling her nudes that we all know. What? You can go buy her nudes? That's crazy. Let's go check it out. What's the site called? OnlyFans, okay. And now another girl just dropped an OnlyFans. What?
I had just started up my new business venture of the online sex work community. And all anybody was doing at that time was being home. And that's all I was doing. So I was home working my ass off and making a lot of money.
I was working towards trying to direct and move more behind the camera right before COVID-19 hit. And then the pandemic hit, and it enforced a lot of testing regulations on our industry that were very strict and were changing all the time.
Pandemic hit, there was no more flying out to LA, anything like that. So what I did was I networked with girls in Miami who had OnlyFans, who were starting to blow up in the industry and the world over there, and starting to make a lot of money.
It definitely increased my revenue for sure. It increased my revenue on everything because people were just home, and my job is being on the internet in general, whether it's, streaming or OnlyFans. So it definitely increased my income.
And I remember the boys' group chat just being electric. We're all bored at home during COVID, nothing to talk about. And then, oh, this girl just dropped an OF. How is it? Let's share money on an account. And oh, it's $80 to see her naked, 20 each, boys.
It made directing and producing incredibly hard. We're having to do 24-hour COVID testing on top of the STD testing standards that we already have. Ultimately, led me to kind of stepping away from directing and producing because it was just way too much on my plate. I was able to take the skills that I was using for a company, directing and producing, and I was able to just use it for myself.
That was when I launched everything. That was when I started camming, and then that was when I broke through with my OnlyFans. And I had so much fun filming my OnlyFans because it was right when the pandemic was starting. But I bought some camera. I knew nothing about YouTube, how to use it, and I actually started taking professional photos and videos of myself that I was loading to my OnlyFans and editing myself. And I was having fun, like, in this online world that involved nobody else but me.
With the rise of OnlyFans, like the big name porn stars, they weren't shooting for the production companies anymore because they were making more money shooting their own content from their own home.
Up until this point, it was very standard for production studios to pay flat rates to girls and performers in general to perform. Some of those rates on the high end were considered maybe thousands a day. On the low end, it could be as low as hundreds. What the production companies would do is they would actually take the creators and they would pay them as talent, and then they would own the content, and then they would go on and distribute it and make tons of money from it.
You make this scene with this company, and you get paid $2,000, let's say. Back then, not that much.
And whatever flat rate they got to do that shoot that day, that's what they got, and very often no royalties. So they would have to show up on set, 9 hours, film, and then get their pay, go home.
And then they go and they sell it and they put it out there and they make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars off it. Well, OnlyFans is giving people the opportunity to make that money themselves without the middleman.
OnlyFans for sure absolutely gave creators for the first time a place to really monetize the brand they built for themselves.
So sure, they get paid to show up on set and do their shoot for the production companies, but it's not the same money at all as they're making on OnlyFans.
There were porn stars that capitalized on their name that they had created through porn and having all their content on Pornhub per se. And then they were using that clout on OnlyFans to monetize. So they're taking their name and their image from what they created to OnlyFans to make money.
One girl I know is making $1.5 million a month. Another one I'm tight with showed me her account. She's making $850,000 a month. They're not getting that from the production companies. It's all about the OF.
I quit porn because I kept getting sick. I was always on antibiotics when I was filming. It was awful. You're sharing so many germs on set. So when you're home and creating content, you just have more access versus when you're on set. I mean, when you're on set, you're not sitting there on your OnlyFans chatting with your biggest spenders and making sure that somebody who just tipped is getting what they just tipped for. Definitely quitting was a skyrocketing concept for my business. When you are taking away like physical exhaustion that porn actually gives you, you're tired. You don't want to go home and make the custom that requires you to do your makeup again and, do something physical that maybe your body can't do after shooting a porn scene.
On OnlyFans, they get to choose where they shoot at their own home. They get to film it themselves, 45 minutes with a guy that they're comfortable with. They get to edit out the parts they don't want, cut it, sell it themselves, make hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars off it.
The pro sets, like I enjoy going to set because a lot of the companies I've been shooting for so long. So I have a relationship with the producers or the crew. They're like family. Like there's some people in this industry that I've known for so long, they're like family to me. So if I'm shooting from my home, I don't get to see these people. If I'm on set, it's cool. It's like a little reunion where I get to hang out with my friends and my peers. Amateur sets, I shoot from home. Don't have to worry about opening up the camera. Don't have to worry about directors. Don't have to worry about if we want to take a break, we can take a break. Yeah, it's just easier. It's just more relaxed. It's just more informal.
Now, the typical split on OnlyFans is around 80% to the creator and approximately 20% to the platform. That's great for OnlyFans as well because the credit card processing really only costs them somewhere around 3 to 5%. So they're basically taking 15% margin just for providing a website.
My OnlyFans actually was not thriving while I was in production. Once I quit, my OnlyFans turned over because I was finally home again all the time. And when you're home and you're creating content and you're doing this solo one-on-one time, in my experience, you're making the best production that you can sell. You have your marketing down. You know when to make TikToks, when to post on Instagram, when to Twitter, when to Telegram.
I strictly do OnlyFans. I've thought about in the past getting into the adult industry after getting into OnlyFans, but decided it wasn't what's best for my brand because there's more money working for yourself than there is working in porn.
But it's still great for the creators because the creators, if they're making 75 or 80% of the money themselves, they no longer need to go work for $200 a day or for even $1,000 a day.
The production companies pretend that they're supporting it, but I think deep down they don't like it. Because I know for a fact, some of the production companies, they'll put a boy and a girl together and they'll make them wipe off all their makeup and change out of their outfits, go home in separate cars after they shoot. Because what a lot of people are doing, they'll show up on set, then they'll be like, do you want to fuck again for our content? And the production company is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. If you're going to fuck again in this house in the same makeup, in the same outfit, and then put it on your OnlyFans, who the fuck's going to buy our tape that we just spend all this production for?
So the crazy thing about OnlyFans is it had never been initially created solely for the purpose of connecting adult creators with consumers. It was really meant to be a platform that musicians would use to connect with their audiences and sell their music directly. It was a platform for artists or dancers or fitness instructors to be able to teach courses on. That was the original vision for OnlyFans. The perpetuation of adult content on OnlyFans was almost completely driven by the Visa and MasterCard ban on Pornhub. So towards the end of 2020, OnlyFans receives a holy grail that they could have never expected. The world's largest adult website, Pornhub, gets their credit card processing pulled by Visa and MasterCard.
Basically, there was content going on Pornhub that wasn't legally shot.
Some people were even saying that there was videos of minors on the site.
Pornhub's not a big model, like a big webcam site. It's more so a collective of porn.
When Visa and MasterCard canceled with Pornhub, a lot of their processing was lost when they made that switch.
What does this lead to? It leads for the biggest exodus of content creators, specifically adult content creators, from Pornhub to OnlyFans, desperate for anywhere to sell their content and continue earning income.
The movement of content creators went from the webcam platforms to OnlyFans. That's where they lived, and then they went to OnlyFans.
I was on Pornhub before they get banned, like Visa and everything. I have a big income on Pornhub, just posting videos. So one day they just started banning all the videos, taking down videos.
It was weird when it happened because all of us porn performers already had OnlyFans and whatnot, but everybody kind of started jumping onto it and the traffic on it started getting crazy.
Pornhub's more of an aggregate, more of a library of pornography and adult content, and then the webcamming sites are a whole different beast. There was definitely mass exodus from the webcamming sites to OnlyFans, for sure.
What did this do for OnlyFans? This was the opportunity of a lifetime that I don't think any of them, including Stokely, could have ever seen coming.
Back when everything started in the adult entertainment industry, girls relied on the production companies to get anything out. It was all they had. It was their only choice.
It was kind of like a perfect storm. Like all of these girls had the opportunity to make a bunch of money from their homes. All of this traffic's getting driven there from Pornhub, and so it made OnlyFans into this monster that it is now.
What ends up happening is all these cam girls and all these adult actresses who are using Pornhub as a platform to sell their content through, all of a sudden have no way to make money, no way to accept payments, and nowhere to go.
There's two ways performers look at it. They would either upload their content on Pornhub to monetize it when they could at the time, or there was performers that would just, with the good graces, they would be cool with their content being uploaded on Pornhub because it would give them more visibility. In my case, for example, I have 600 million views on Pornhub, so that's a lot of free publicity for me.
I was very scared that when I lose big chunk of income from Pornhub, but some of the fans would move to OnlyFans to watch those contents.
The people who are most successful on the platform are ones that already have large established audiences somewhere else, and they're able to move that audience over there, cut out the production company, cut out the middleman, and then get more of that revenue.
OnlyFans changed a lot for a lot of people. It allowed, some cam girls and some porn girls to make way more money than they were making before.
With the sex industry, when it comes to porn, it's you got a lot more people where it's a lot more girls, they're not even going to get into porn now because they could just do it themselves.
All the girls now, the new ones, are only going on the mainstream sites to promote their OnlyFans or to promote their name, to promote their brand.
I still use a professional production company. I still shoot for them, like Mangeek, Brazzers, Vixen. To be honest, I think that's just for marketing purposes. They can jump into my OnlyFans to see my personal videos, to get some custom videos, which means homemade videos. I could just have my phone, not a really professional angles and the shaky angles. They can just see homemade videos, which is, I think, some of my fans love that.
They are literally making more than movie stars are because some of these girls who have built up big followings and moved them successfully over to the platform are able to really write their own paychecks, and they're able to create unlimited subscription revenue for themselves, which was never a possibility when they were working directly with production companies that control the whole industry.
None of these girls really, unless they were the top 5, were millionaires from doing this stuff. So this is very fresh that the biggest names in porn are now all multimillionaires, all of them. That is brand new. So it used to be oh, porn star, okay, she does porn. But now it's oh, porn star, richer than the top music artist today, richer than our celebrity friends, richer than the best lawyer or bank. These girls are just doing shit at home. They quit porn, and some of them just do nudes. Example, Mia Khalifa, who's one of the most watched porn stars ever on Pornhub. She's only done, I think, 8 scenes. But she does OnlyFans now. She's top 5 earner in the world, doesn't show her nipples. So she's a multi-millionaire because she did porn, now just doing OF, not even showing herself, making millions and millions and millions of dollars, millions a month.
Although there are creators that are very successful on the OnlyFans platform, some of them even making millions of dollars a year, one of the huge misconceptions that the public has about the platform is that everybody on OnlyFans becomes automatically financially successful.
OnlyFans isn't cheap. I spend $10K a month on promo for my page, and girls who don't spend that, they don't make much money. People do OnlyFans and they think of it almost like dancing, like being a stripper, which is oh, I'm gonna start OnlyFans and I'm gonna make all this money. With what platform, with what traction, with what anything? You don't have any network. It doesn't work like that. You don't just drop OnlyFans and all of a sudden people see you.
A lot of people think, well, I can quit my job and I can go do OnlyFans. But the reality is, about 90% of the revenue goes to less than 1% of the creators.
You are not going to be successful in content creating if you don't know yourself or your boundaries. If you're going to let your fans push you to do something that you're not comfortable with, you're not laying your boundaries down initially. Your fans should know what they're getting with you. And then your boundaries that you slowly open up to your fans should be rewards. Hey, this is my first time I've ever done whatever fetish, whatever niche you're selling, and use that to market because you're going to make more money with your boundaries.
I'm just trying to gen up my income, trying to come up with this creative ideas, how to track my fans to join my OnlyFans. So I come up with the idea for the raffle. $20 for each raffle. Some people will spend thousands of dollars on raffle. The biggest reward is they can fuck me in real life, in person. Some of the fans got a lot of a raffle, but they did not win, so they kind of get jealous. So they reported at me on OnlyFans, and that's how I got banned for about year and a half, I would say. That life was not fun at all.
You know, some people don't have large audiences and maybe they don't make that much on their OnlyFans. So doing the production company is great, but even then, it's still promotion for their OnlyFans in the long run.
I try to interact with them personally, so I try to live stream a lot. That's really big with connecting with people. They can see your mannerisms, how you are, how you joke about things, laugh, and they can relate to you. And then I also try to do, little vlogs of just stuff that I'm doing, fun things that I'm going to, whether it be an event or, a shoot that I'm doing or a collab that I'm doing with a girl. Like, I really try to involve them in the process as well so that they feel like they're a part of what I'm doing.
During COVID, everybody's trying to make money. Money was great and was pretty easy. But after, towards the end of COVID, it's slowing down a little bit.
We go back to August 2021. OnlyFans, under Stokely's leadership, decides that they're going to pull out of adult content. That sends the adult creator community into a whirlwind.
I was like, oh, no.
It was like a catastrophe in the world happening.
I remember that happening and I was like, uh-oh, this is gonna kill OnlyFans. Like, this is the reason I heard of OnlyFans.
My first reaction was, well, all the girls are gonna come back to shooting porn now that left.
Everyone's faces dropped like, did you fucking...
My reaction was sort of like everybody else online, freaking out.
I laughed at that because people aren't going to OnlyFans to watch, a girl's cooking show or to read a book to them. Like, it's at least 95% of the content and money made on that website is for adult content.
It was scary. OnlyFans is most where my income coming from. That's the big part. If I lose that side, then the biggest income is gone.
And that week was just insane. It was just everyone freaking out. And it was all these new opportunists like Playboy and all these other ones like, well, come to us, come to us, come to us. And all these like wannabe OnlyFans companies are saying, don't worry, we got it, we got it. And everyone's freaked, well, which one are you gonna go to? What the fuck, what are we gonna do?
I do have to start from like ground zero to build up my fan base. The process of getting fans back towards the other platform, which is the hard part.
I was just like, I'm just gonna film a bunch of porn. I mean, my paychecks with porn were fantastic, and I could just continue to max that out.
They weigh the benefit and, the negatives and stuff, the money versus is it worth putting my body out there to everybody? And so for all those girls who already put their body out and now they weren't going to be able to like make money on their OnlyFans, I was a little bit saddened for them. So I'm like, oh, that sucks.
Oh my God, now I'm gonna have to get back to mainstream. The girls that quit, like, it was everyone losing their fucking minds. And that was insane to watch because it was really like the world was ending, it seemed like.
So my plan B was to get into production like I was and just shoot a lot and then switch over to a different platform.
We had celebrities deleting their fucking OnlyFans accounts. We had people dropping their agencies. Everybody was coming out of the woodwork for sex workers, and because we built the platform.
Why did he do that? He was probably being put under a lot of pressure by the same regulators and the same merchant processing executives that were coming after Pornhub.
They saw what had happened to Pornhub losing their ability to monetize through credit card payment processors. So I think they saw the same thing potentially happening to them. They're like, shit, we need to sell before we lose our ability to monetize.
Stokely comes out and he tries to ban adult creators on OnlyFans.
This is a platform that's making all of its money off of what I do on it. There's no way they're canceling us out.
Obviously, it was alarming to everybody, but at the same time, it's like marketing geniuses.
I was shocked. I was surprised. And I put on my business owner hat. I'm like, how the fuck is this company going to survive?
But I also had this suspicion that it wasn't real.
It was a really great way for them to build traction. You know, we had celebrities where it's like Tyga, for instance, who had an OnlyFans agency, who had his own OnlyFans that was making, I think it was like $6 million a month, went viral and posted him deleting his entire account.
Everybody was panicking. All the people that I know was on OnlyFans was panicking. And they started telling their fans on OnlyFans, oh, you can go on the other platform. Here is where you can see me for the same content.
They would never be able to delete porn and stuff like that, because that what that would do is, like, there's plenty of people who has bought in content, and when you buy content as a fan on OnlyFans, it saves to your vault. So what that would mean is that you would have to remove all of the content that you sold that fan. So as a company, that they would have to either give those people their money back, or it would be liable. They could get sued up the fucking ass and lose everything.
Stokely is under tons of pressure. He's getting backlash from the creators. He's getting backlash from Visa and MasterCard, who are putting pressure on him.
They would be tanking their business. There would be no way in hell that company would be able to survive if they canned the adult industry.
6 days later, Stokely does a U-turn, decides, you know what, we're not going to eliminate and fully ban adult creators.
They shut it down and they announced that they will maintain their relationship and to hold adult content creators on their website.
We are going to allow adult creators to continue using the platform.
When it came back, everyone was celebrating. There was parades. It felt like, you know.
That was my first highest month because it brought so much attention back to the platform.
Oh, thank God. Everyone was so happy, high-fiving, dancing. People were going out that night. Someone threw a party. Like, it was a big day.
It does make it tough, you know, if you're shooting and whatnot, more girls come in, there's going to be a bigger pool of girls, going to be less demand for you, of course.
I have a lot of friends that they were doing OnlyFans for a long time that would have never got into pro porn and then kind of dipped their toes in it and now are working for companies like Browsers and Vixens and stuff like that. So it's kind of weird. It's, in a weird way, it's definitely kind of like harmonized the communities. There's free porn on the internet forever. If OnlyFans was about things being free and just jerking off, porn would be out of business, and porn isn't.
I'm really glad that OnlyFans stayed, so we're able to keep our income and be happy.
I think OnlyFans kind of understands that we helped kind of create the traffic that's there.
It put us back on the map, back on the radar. It was really good for us.
The average creator on OnlyFans, in fact, probably more than 75% of the creators on the platform, make less than $600 a month from it.
I used to think, okay, porn is easy. You know, you're hot, you go get fucked on camera, you get paid, whatever. It's an easy thing any girl can do. And you know, if you're above a 6, you'll make it. But the reality is, it's like any other industry in the world. To get to the top, it's the hardest workers.
It's really hard to convince people to join OnlyFans nowadays. What do I have to post on social media to let them click the link?
Going on OnlyFans and making a life-changing decision about putting yourself on the internet permanently like that doesn't always mean it's going to translate to financial success.
I know a lot of girls who are porn stars, famous porn stars, and they get on OnlyFans and they don't make shit. It's one of those things where they don't go hand in hand. Our fans use their profile the same way that we use ours. They're posting things. They're posting themselves naked. They want attention too. It's very much set up like Facebook. So it's completely different. It's hard. You know, it's like I have tons of content that I drop that, you know, it's like I hope they buy.
Building a brand, though, is number one. It's one of the hardest things to do.
It's not about the prettiest anymore at all. You'll see the most beautiful girls that are making, 5K a month, and you'll see just a girl who works her fucking ass off making 500K a month.
There's no business where you're going to make over 100K a month where you didn't invest into your business.
I have to come up with a concept. Okay, maybe we should go to the pool, do some fun pool bikini jumping around short videos to get them join my OnlyFans.
The hardest thing is to build your community. The real way of engaging in the crowd that is already on OnlyFans is by using other creators to help your profile perform. So if I see somebody who I know is making more money than me, I'm going to offer them a certain amount of money to advertise a photo of me with a link to directly to my OnlyFans.
Female creators make a lot more money. They have bigger platforms. So sometimes they'll pay me to shoot with them. They'll pay me my rate. Sometimes if it's a smaller creator, we'll just do a content share.
It's really, really a standard practice to talk about boundaries with people before you do a collab with them. It's usually right before you're about to collab with them. You say, okay, so what are your boundaries?
To know yourself and your boundaries before you even put content out there is so important. My mom always said, you go to sleep at night with your thoughts and you have to be proud of yourself. And so I always made sure that no matter what I did, I went to bed and I didn't feel uncomfortable or unsafe with what I'd produced.
It's really important to stick to those, especially for men, because if men break a woman's boundary, that can get spread all within the OnlyFans and adult community, and it can get you canceled. So boundaries are very important.
I compare it to the NFL. The women in the industry are like the running backs. They come in for a couple years, they're the stars, they score the touchdowns, they get all the points, but they only have a couple years of longevity in it. They get a beating, they get pounded up the middle. After a couple of years, they're done. The men, we're like the kickers. We can do it for 20, 30 years.
My whole family has always been supportive of what I do. I've always been financially independent of them since I've been an adult, so their approval of what I do, as long as it doesn't affect anybody negatively, hasn't ever come up.
I've completely lost my family by their choice, not my choice. I was okay with it. I knew that it would draw my family away. And those are all the things that I had to think about before I made the decision to actually go through with it. So they know what I do, and they just completely disagree with it. They're very religious. They see it as immoral, not as me expressing myself and being safe.
Maybe I shouldn't be on the internet. Maybe I really just should find another job and be a normal girl, never be showing my body or showing myself on the internet. That's really I always think about it. It makes me sad all the time, and sometimes makes me cry thinking about it.
Is my family comfortable with what I do for a living? Probably not, but are they supportive? Extremely yes, because I do extremely well for myself. And at that point, when you get to a certain level of money that you've made and, reputation, to where it's kind of like, I make enough money online to where, what the fuck are you gonna say?
But now, nowadays, I'm like, fuck you. I don't care what you're saying, but when I look at a mirror, I'm the best. That's...
On December 23rd, 2021, Stokely steps down as CEO and hands the baton over to Amrapali Gan, the Chief Marketing Officer, who is so instrumental in marketing the success of OnlyFans. For a company that hasn't even been around for 10 years yet, OnlyFans has seen a tremendous amount of growth. They had a respectable 20 million users for some time, but under the leadership of Amrapali Gan, the CEO, they grew to over 200 million users, with 3 million creators serving them. This created a lot of pressure. This created a lot of attention on the platform.
I think that when you're doing such awesome shit, you're gonna get, you know, equally as many people telling you that you suck. And that just kind of goes with the territory.
To say that negative comments online don't affect a person, we're all affected. The thing is the energy exchange online is real. So you are taking energy and absorbing. I think that being strong and knowing where people are coming from when they say things to you is more important.
It's okay. I don't let it get to me because at the end of the day, I still pay my bills. I still sit in my house and they're just on my phone. They're not on my face, so.
I don't really get that kind of hate on my page. And if I did, I wouldn't give a fuck anyways.
You got to respect the grinders. No one can look at an OnlyFans girl who has a beautiful car and be like, fuck her, she does it left. No, she's probably working harder than you. I guarantee it.
The whole reason I started the OnlyFans is because I want to open up an animal sanctuary. It comes down to weighing whether or not it's worth it for you. And for me, I saw animal sanctuary, rescuing animals. It was hard, but it was worth getting rid of, you know, sacrificing those other relationships to get where I want to be.
One of the toughest things that I've dealt with while being an adult performer is relationships. It's always been hard, whether I've dated other adult stars or I've dated girls that aren't adult stars. Both have their pros and cons, but it's made dating tough because it's, you know, I'm sharing my energy, I'm sharing sex, I'm sharing myself with other people. And a lot of healthy relationships, you know, you're not really sharing your body like that. So it's been difficult for me to kind of navigate that. If I've had a girlfriend and, you know, I'm shooting all day, I'm having sex on camera, I get home, like, I'm drained.
You can lose a lot of relationships, important relationships.
I've spent a lot of time with my therapist working on sexual trauma, like communication, all these sort of things I'm dealing with daily because every single day you get a negative comment, at least one.
I do get negative comments under my posts or my videos or everything. At the beginning of my career, I was really like attached to those hate comments. I would think about them all the time. It was stuck in my head all day long.
There's been times where, you know, I've been disinvited from functions. I was doing some stuff with my university a few years ago. I was mentoring entrepreneurs and people in the business school. Because I was in that same school, I'd started up several businesses. So I was helping some students. One of the faculty members found out that I was an adult film star and she had an issue with it. She's like, oh, this kind of person shouldn't be teaching our students, blah, blah, blah. So I was getting, you know, some shit from my university. The majority of the faculty, they were okay with it because they knew me as a person and they're like, listen, like, we know him personally, like, okay, he does this for work, but that doesn't, you know, disregard his knowledge for business or who he is as a person. So luckily I had people that had my back with that and fought for me. People ask me about getting into the adult industry, I tell them, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not for everyone. It's really not. It's tough. A lot of guys that get into the industry professionally, they don't last because it's definitely grueling, especially the mental aspect of it. It's you know, not everyone can stay rock solid on command with a room full of people watching them in a high pressure situation. It's just not everyone's built for it.
If my OnlyFans were never gotten deleted, I probably wouldn't jump into professional porn.
I do know a lot of people have been more influenced to get into porn who may have never done that simply because they want to grow a brand so that they can have an OnlyFans following.
What's very interesting about OnlyFans is lately, especially, there's been a very big decrease in beautiful women's numbers, and the average girl next door, the 6, the 7, the attainable women are who making the most money. OnlyFans is kind of personal. You're in there messaging them, you're talking to them. Guys feel like they're shooting their shot. Girls that they see like in LA that are 10 out of 10s, that are always around celebrities, they're not making that much anymore in OF.
Like, it inspires me to see people online that having fun, shooting for themselves, but I just don't have the courage to do it if I haven't got lost in my OnlyFans.
Don't get into OnlyFans or being a content creator if you're not a content creator, because that's the biggest misconception. I know a lot of people that get into the industry thinking that, oh, it's fast money, and they hear this thing, they're gonna make a quick buck. If you don't like it, you're not gonna do well.
As any content creator will tell you, we have to be our own production house, we have to be our own accountants, we have to be our own marketers, our own managers, we have to feed ourselves, cook for ourselves, clean up after ourselves, we gotta do everything for ourselves, and so you run into a lot of different problems when you wear that many hats. And I think the best way to overcome any of those challenges is to just not give up.
In July of 2023, Amra Polygon steps down as CEO and is followed by Kaylee Blair. Now, Kaylee was originally the Chief Strategy and Operations Officer for OnlyFans, and she was also instrumental in the growth of the platform. She's pegged as CEO, and they go from there.
Moving forward, I think the adult entertainment is just gonna become bigger and bigger.
Really, it's guys, it's fantasy, and it's guys thinking, I want to date this girl, I want to fuck this girl.
Porn's always gonna need new faces. It's always gonna need girls to shoot. It's always gonna be there because it's just this giant mega industry that it's never gonna go away.
What I most like is when I'm out in public and people would come up to me and just say, oh my God, hi Nicole, I am a big fan, I love your video. That's the most rewarding things for me. I feel like, okay, so now I'm in the public and people actually like the video that I made.
Last year, I had dropped an OnlyFans workshop. I help other girls make money and pretty much learn the ropes to where it guide them, because there's a lot of girls that get into OnlyFans where it's that $1,500 promo or that $800, that's a lot of money to them. So it's to me, it was I started a workshop where it's I guided girls where it's help them find good promo. Pretty much just told them all the things, all my lessons I learned to where they wouldn't make those same mistakes to protect their investments. Sex will always sell. There's a lot of technology going out there right now.
The community seems to be growing so much.
The aspect of self-creating, personal content creators like OnlyFans, people shooting for themselves, people shooting their own content as opposed for shooting for companies.
It also sort of set the bar for people accepting that we just want to make money and have better lives. We don't really dream of labor. There's, of course, jobs that are extremely important in this world, but a lot of us just need to pay rent.
From DVD to just so easy on our cell phones we can watch. And right now, VR scenes are very popular. I just feel like the technologies for adult entertainment is graduating. They're going to the next level.
I think we're going into AI. I think we're going into AI porn, and it's making me so sad because I don't want my job gone.
There's going to be more people in the adult industry because, again, it's more socially acceptable. I wouldn't be surprised if, a few years from now, you see people that have an OnlyFans that are running for public office.
People, performers, used to make their main income just with production companies. And nowadays, everything is digital, online, anybody. You can go out to a restaurant and the waitress could have an OnlyFans page.
I don't think AI is the next thing. Talking to a robotic version of a girl, I just don't think is it. VR was supposed to be the next big thing, which I'm a huge fan of, but it didn't catch on. It's not catching on. It looks like porn is here to stay, but the human connection style of porn, OnlyFans, is what people are wanting more and more of.
I think that's the biggest shift, and that will continue to be the biggest shift moving forward.
I see it growing, and I see it being more accepted, which, that could be a good and bad thing.
People love watching porn.
For the horizon of adult performers is it's sunny. I think there's a lot of opportunities that will be able to come out of this, especially with the rise of OnlyFans, all the opportunities that will arise out of that.